Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I am trying to find interviews of Jimi Hendrix. I know that I think somebody mentioned that there's a documentary for Jimi Hendrix, and so I plan on watching that and probably just sharing that on the Patreon, making it an exclusive because I'm sure I'm going to have issues with YouTube if I tried uploading that. But I found something here that says a rare interview of Jimi Hendrix, December 1967, part one of three on somebody's channel. Part two of three was taken down due to a copyright strike, but part one of three I thought we could watch together, even if it just gives us a sneak peek into who Jimi Hendrix is, because it's a week of interviews. So let's see what we got. Let's see what we got with this, and what it shows us of Jimi Hendrix. I definitely want to get to know Jimi Hendrix, the person, not just Jimi Hendrix, the musician. And I know they go hand in hand, but each one strengthens the other. So very excited to hear this. Sorry. How do I get out of here? Okay. Yeah, play.
This is an interview with Jimi Hendrix. It was done in London about 2 weeks after his second album was released.
Oh, second album.
I'm going to make some comments about my impressions of Hendrix and point out some things to look for when you listen to this interview. It's a good interview. When I met Jimi Hendrix, my first impression was his presence was so strong. It was sort of like stepping into a field of electricity.
Wow.
And I don't know if it's because of the giant amps that he was working with or just being a superstar and having all that energy directed at you. But I wish there had been a way that this tape could have captured some of that vibrancy that I felt at that moment.
Yeah.
I did this interview mainly because I wanted to meet him, and I honestly did not have one question ready.
Oh my gosh.
I figured that, when the time came, I'd open my mouth and sort of a question would come out. We've all heard interviews where the interviewer is so involved lining up the next question that he or she doesn't hear what the person's trying to say.
True.
Well, I didn't have a next question. I just listened to what he was saying. And what he was saying led to the next question. And he was so sensitive, as you'll hear. He could see me listening, and he really opened up.
You really hate these interviews.
Oh no, well it's all right, It's all right.
I mean, you do have a lot.
Pardon?
A lot of people bothering you about interviews.
Well, to tell the truth, there is a lot, but it's all right though, sometimes you just feel like talking, sometimes you don't though,
Yeah.
Just go into different moods.
Okay, so some of the usual.
Yeah,
go ahead.
That's all right. No, it doesn't bother me at all. I just want to get this light for a second. Yeah.
You're originally from Buffalo, and you've been here about.
No, not from
No?
Buffalo. No, I'm from Seattle, Washington, originally. But I used to live. I lived all over the states though, and then I wound up in New York, not too long ago.
Yeah.
But I lived all over the states.
He's so
I stayed in Buffalo for
soft-spoken.
about a month or two when it was too cold up there.
Well, yeah, but if you were in Seattle, it can't be any colder in Buffalo.
No, but Seattle has a different type of cold, though. It's a different. It's a nice coldness, It isn't so cutting as Buffalo. Anyway, there's this girl up there trying to work roots on me, work this voodoo stuff, kick me there, I had to go to the hospital and all that, but I could make that scene.
What do you mean you had to go to the hospital?
Well, she tried working roots. That's a scene like they might put as, there's different things they can do. They can put something in your food or either put some hair in your shoe, some of the hair in your shoe.
Oh,
I think.
Voodoo stuff, yeah.
Mojo.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, she
Obia.
tried that, and I don't know. She must have tried it half-heartedly because I was just only sick in the hospital for about 2 or 3 days.
Do you ever get involved in that scene other than?
Not anymore. Really, like around in the southern United States, they have a lot of scenes like that going on.
Yeah.
But that's if I see it happen or if I feel it happen, then I believe it.
Yeah.
But not necessarily if I just hear it being talked about.
What about charms and things like this?
Oh yeah.
the way-
If a person they give off certain many, electric shocks anyway. Really.
Yeah, energies.
Yeah, and so then if they can actually get these things together, really, if the vibrations are strong enough to get these charms working, they can actually do it.
I was watching you when you were talking to this girl that came in. I think she sent you some clothes for you.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, that,
Wait a second. What are we talking about? This is not what I anticipated. First of all, I have to say I really, really, really like this interviewer. I don't know who he is. Amazing job he's doing here. I feel like him saying, I'm just gonna go in and listen and then see what questions come up is just really intelligent, and it's causing things that wouldn't typically come out in an interview to come out. He's talking about charms and somebody working voodoo on him and electric, like, who is Jimi Hendrix? Oh my God. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I'm sorry. I have a lot of learning to do.
It was very nice because you were really watching her and you were really taking her in. I mean, take her in, and I mean just like sizing up. What I mean. It was,
She seemed like a nice girl. I like to take her home and, scrub her up a little bit, and then, go into the scene, and then get the clothes measured up, maybe. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's supposed to come over there for that. See, I don't go by, like some girls, you don't go by appearance. You go by different. There's other things that girls have to offer besides their looks, that makes you might want to be with them, for a second or two.
A second or two.
There's other things, besides that. I don't just go by this look, because we know the story, some of them, some of the worst people in the world. But, you go by other things. I don't know what it is. You can just feel little things. You say, damn, I might want to be with her. I don't know. Let me check myself there, see what happens.
You call that Something by the Beatles, which I listened to this week. Yes.
Great. What about this? I mean, I mentioned, needless to say, a lot of people are envious, me included,
Sorry, the melody's in my head. Something about the way she woos me. I don't want to leave her now. I'm sorry, this is not about the Beatles, but no, I believe in how. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I just had to get it out of my spirit.
I mentioned, needless to say, a lot of people are envious, me included,
Let's bring it back a little.
Just feel little things. Say things, besides that. I don't just go by this look, because we know the story, some of them, some of the worst people in the world. But, you go by other things. I don't know what it is. You can just feel little things. You say, damn, I might want to be with her. I don't know. Let me check myself there, see what happens. It's great.
What about this? I mean, I mentioned, needless to say, a lot of people are envious, me included,
Not necessarily, really.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't, because, if you're not used to it, well, it could kill you, really. Really, but it's just another way of communication. That's why other people can't understand and say, well, damn, why are you with so many people? I said, well, I don't necessarily be, touching those people all the time. I just be talking to them. Some I talk to, and then others, therefore, and thereafter. This is a scene like if it's part of you, this is nature. I don't know.
It's intriguing. Some other people, therefore and thereafter. What kind of talking is that? That's hilarious.
People are envious, me included,
Not necessarily, really.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't, because, if you're not used to it, well, it could kill you, really. Really, but it's just another way of communication. That's why other people can't understand and say, well, damn, why are you with so many people? I said, well, I don't necessarily be, touching those people all the time. I just be talking to them. Some I talk to, and then others, therefore. And thereafter. This is a scene like if it's part of you, this is nature. I don't know. I just can't help it. That's all.
Yeah.
It's a scene like that's another way of communication, though. You have your own ways, Some people just communicate better by, not even knowing each other's name, by saying, "Hey, hi, how you doing there? Would you come with me there for a minute?" And then it's all, and you do that. And you can be the best of friends then.
Yeah.
Some even get married after that.
Have to find it. It just sort of flow with it when you started to get this, this image, which, as you.
Oh, it was worse before, because I used to be on the block starving, and girls used to help me and all that, Girls are some of my best friends, because they used to help me, and really help me too.
Yeah.
And I really, ever since then, that's why I say to myself, well, any girl I meet now, I want to try to show my appreciation for what they did for me before. No, serious though. It's just.
What kind of cheek comment is he making there? Hold on. What is he saying? Play.
Girls are some of my best friends because they used to help me, and really help me too. And I really, ever since then, that's why I say to myself, well, any girl I meet now, I'm gonna try to show my appreciation for what they did for me before. No, serious though. It's just,
You're gonna show his
I don't know.
appreciation.
It's just nature.
Appreciation. That's funny. Let's jump into part 3. Since we don't have part 2, I mean, let's just watch it and see.
This is probably my favorite part. I'm not sure how we got into talking about this. The original interview was lost except for these sections you're now hearing. And fortunately, these are the best sections.
Good.
Anyway, at this point, Hendrix is so animated he gets up and starts pacing about the room. And I should mention this was done with a single handheld microphone. There's certain advantage to this. You have to sit alongside the person so you can swing the mic back and forth, from your questions to their answers. And it's sort of rubbing shoulders with a person, and it enables you to touch the person. And I don't mean necessarily physically touching, their arm or their hand or something. But, I mean mentally touch the person, sort of sync your mind with their mental state. And you have to feel the person.
Who is this
and
guy?
They need to feel you. See, you're okay.
Why is he?
And it establishes a trust.
No, this is a weird interviewer. Who is this guy? Thomas Lopez? Thomas Lopez is interesting. Jeez. And intelligent. Wow. See, these are the people I need to associate myself with. People like you who comment on the channel. Y'all are smart. Listen to how he's talking. People's minds are so fascinating.
And with their mental state. And you have to feel the person, and they need to feel you. See, you're okay. And it establishes a trust. And as I've said, Hendrix's presence was so strong, and the energy in the room was so hot at this point, that I was high for a week after doing this interview.
Whoa.
One last thought. I realized that if I approached Hendrix as the pop star, he would have been forced to reply as the pop star. And that's what this interview would have been, the pop star talking about his records. But I wanted to talk with Hendrix the person, the artist. And he replied as that, and that's what we get in this section. I think it's a rare and kind of a beautiful view of Hendrix as he talks about his childhood memories and his dreams.
Can you remember when you was a little baby? I think your memory comes through.
To about the age of 2.5.
Yeah.
But it came back like a dream.
Yeah, there you go. When you think about it now, it's just blank before that, then you think of that. Well, I think that's where you come about on some other scenes too, Because human beings die too easily, It's first thing.
What about the animal? You said the
Like
animal.
Like you might see an animal or something like that, and also you might have a very funny feeling go through you for a second.
Do you mean like looking into his eyes, or
Yeah,
not necessarily, or just the animal itself?
Yeah, one time I seen this deer, and because I see a lot of deers around where I used to be from. And I said, wait, something went through me for once, like I'd seen him before. I mean, like I had some real close connections with that deer for one split second, and then it just went away like that, That happens, like a lot of friends of mine told me about that happened to them, Have you ever laid?
His mind is so interesting. Do you like what he shared just now is something I've also thought of a lot. That's so amazing. Listen to what he said about when you're a baby and how you forget things and how humans die easily.
So hot at this point that I was high for a week after doing this interview. One last thought. I realized that if I approached Hendrix as the pop star, he would have been forced talking about his replied as that, and that's what we get in this section. View of Hendrix as he talks about his childhood memories and his dreams.
Can you remember when you was a little baby? I think your memory comes through.
About the age of 2.5.
Yeah.
But it came back like a dream.
Yeah, there you go. When you think about it now, it's just blank before that, then you think of that. Well, I think that's where you come about on some other scenes too, Because human beings die too easily,
So many interesting thoughts. His opinions about the deer and having a connection and feeling like he knows the deer from someplace. Wow. Now I'm sad. Like now I wish I could have talked to Jimi Hendrix because I'm sure like Imagine if you could have talked to him. How many interesting conversations you would have had, like just through his music alone. Like we're traveling to different worlds, and it's so amazing. Gosh.
I had some real close connections with that deer for one split second, and then it just went away like that, you know. That happens, you know, like a lot of friends of mine told me about that. That happened to them, you know.
Mm,
Have you ever laid in bed and you was in this complete state where you couldn't move or
mm.
couldn't enough like that, but you know, you're like that, and
That
you
sleep
feel like
paralysis.
you're going deep and deep into something, not sleep, but it's something else.
Yeah,
Mm.
And every time I go into that, then I say, "Oh hell, I'm scared as hell." You know, you get all scared and stuff. So you try to say, "Help, help." You can't move. You can't scream. You say, "Help, help." You finally get out of it, you know, because you just can't move. It's a very funny feeling. But one time I was gonna try. One time that feeling was coming through me. You know, I said, "Oh, here we go. This time I'm gonna see if I'm gonna see, let it happen. See where I go to, or see what happens." You know. So it was really getting really scary, man. It's going like that, you know. I said, I'm not even asleep, you know. So this is really strange. And somebody knocked on the door, you know. I said, oh, because I wanted to find out.
Can you remember some things really far back when you
Yeah, I
were
can
a
remember when the
baby?
nurse put the dice. I remember when.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Listen, what he just said a while ago is so crazy. So I've had this experience before, not like when I was sleeping, not sleeping, okay? There's this one time, I don't even know if you care to hear this. You could just skip forward, maybe like 2 minutes. That's how long it's going to take for me to tell you the story. So there's this time, right, when I was a kid and I was like running on the street, like just running. I remember I was running and like all of a sudden I felt like I escaped my body. I felt like my spirit came out of my body, and I was like incredibly aware and conscious of my own existence, and it was terrifying, terrifying. Like all of a sudden I knew I was me, like I was me, and I was running and I was at this place. Like it was like a different kind of consciousness. And I did the same thing he's describing here. There are many times that I would just sit and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to let it happen. I'm going to let myself go to that place where I become scared and see what comes next. And like, I did it once and I got past the fear. But that's happened to me before where I had just this extremely overwhelming consciousness, like a raw sensitivity to the idea of me being me. And that is trippy. If you've ever had that happen to you, please tell me, because I've said it to people before and they've been like, no, nothing like this. This is the first time. Well, maybe the second time, because I think I found it on Quora. This is the second time I've ever heard any other person say this. That's sick. I was not expecting to hear this here. Who is Jimi Hendrix? Oh my God.
Not sleep, but it's something else.
Yeah, exactly.
And every time I go into that, then I say, oh hell, I'm scared as hell. You know, you get all scared and stuff. So you try to say, help, help. You can't move. You can't scream. You say, help, help.
Wow.
You finally get out of it, you know, because you just can't move. It's a very funny feeling. But one time I was gonna try it. One time that feeling was coming through me. You know, I said, oh, here we go. This time I'm gonna see if I'm gonna see what happens, see where I go to, or see what happens, you know. So it was really getting really scary, man. It's going like that, you know. I said, I'm not even asleep, you know. So this is really strange. And somebody knocked on the door, you know. I said, oh, because I want to find out.
Can you remember some things really far back when you
Yeah,
were
I
a
can remember when the
baby?
nurse put the dice. I remember when.
Can you really?
Yeah, when the nurse. I don't know what I was there for, but I remember when I used to wear diapers, and then she was like talking to me. She took me out of the this crib or something like that, and then she held me up to the window. This was in Seattle, and she was showing me something up against the sky, and it was fireworks and all that. It must have been the 4th of July, you know. And I remember her putting the diaper on me and almost sticking me, you know. I was asleep, you know. And then she put like that. I remember I didn't feel so good, you know. I must have been in the hospital sick about something. And I had a bottle and all that kind of stuff. And then she held me up to the window. She's saying something about it, you know. And I was looking in the sky. Was this
almost an acid thing going on.
wow, that's right. That's what it was because only beforehand, our first trip there. That nurse turns me on. Being high off the penicillin she probably gave me. So.
Can you remember any others?
Well, I was small enough to fit in the clothes basket. I remember when I was small enough to fit in the clothes basket. You know the straw clothes baskets they have in America?
Yeah.
You put all the dirty clothes in. And there's only about like that.
They call them hampers.
Incredible.
Yeah, hampers.
Yeah.
I remember my cousin and I was in there playing around.
Oh,
That must have been when I was about 3 or something like that. And like sometimes when you're sitting around, then you start remembering some of the things that happened beforehand. Those are the first two that comes to my mind. And some dreams that I had when I was real little, like my mother was being carried away on this camel, and it was a big caravan. She's saying, "Well, I'm gonna see you now," and she's going under these trees. You can see the shade, the leaf patterns across her face, but she's going under this, like that. And the sun, you know how the sun shines through a tree, and if you go under the shadows of the tree, the shadows go across your face. Well, these were in green and yellow shadows. Like she's saying, "Well, I won't be seeing you too much anymore, so I'll see." And then about 2 years after that, she died.
Oh,
And
wow.
I said, "Yeah, but where you going though, like that?" I remember that. I always really remember that one. I never did forget. There's some dreams you never forget.
yeah.
Like one time I went. There's this one dream you go down like that. This real big hill, but it has real long grass, and then there's a whole lot of bananas down the floor, at the floor of this hill. But they're all spread all over, and they're growing from the ground by each one separate. And I remember that, and then we was skating across that. I don't know how we were, but what you do is you pour this stuff out that we made up. It's big bags. You pour it out across the bananas, and it fills up all the gaps, and then you skate across it. I remember those things.
You must have been dreaming in color when you were very
Oh,
young.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't remember too many. The closest to a black and white dream I ever had was in pastel shades.
Yeah, yeah.
One time I was in pastel shades, like it was maroon and dark, and then very light maroon, and then this big gold cliff out of the middle of nowhere. That was great.
Oh
And
my
that was the closest I ever got to
goodness.
black and white.
This final section is only a few words about reincarnation and death.
Before we go there, I just want to comment on like the amount of detail with which he's recounting his dreams. I don't know if I've ever put any thought into the colors of my dreams before. That's really fascinating. If I end up dreaming today, I will try to see if I can figure out what colors are in there because, whoa, Jimmy is amazing. Oh my God.
And then this big gold cliff out of the middle of nowhere. That was great. And that was the closest I ever got to black and white.
This final section is
It's
only a few
closest
words
to that.
about reincarnation and death.
People really, people really believe that every single person that's born here is completely different. I mean that's true, but through the times, can you imagine all these? Well, what if we all supposed to go to heaven? All that? Can you imagine all these people who died beforehand, and all of us, all of them in heaven,
Yeah.
all of them on top of each other? Hey man, move over, man. I don't have the room up here. I said, hell, you had no business dying, did you? Oh God. So can you imagine that? Wow.
This has been an interview with Jimi Hendrix. Your guide has been Meatball Fulton.
A wonderful job he did.
This is probably
A wonderful, wonderful job he did. Well, this was like, I was trying to see if I could find interviews that would allow us to go like in chronological order and kind of match the albums. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to upload this and you'll be able to see it and enjoy it and even go watch it on your own because it's really good and there's just so much good stuff in this to go back and listen to and see how he talks. And he's just like so calm and childlike in a way, very like fun and sexual and cheeky and thoughtful. I mean, wow. Wow. Well, I enjoyed this. I hope you did too. I'm gonna scooch over out of the way. And yeah, I will see you for Axis. Bold as love. Yeah. Normally I said I'll see you in the next one, but now that I said I'll see you for Axis Bold as love, saying peace feels awkward, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Peace. Take care. I don't even say take care most of the times. Peace.